Hey, how you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. I am going to talk to you guys about the possibly weirdest camera that I have ever owned. You guys know that I own a lot of cameras, but this one I think takes the cake. Now this here is the Sony Mavica camera. Look at this beauty, guys. Look at this beauty. This camera is an odd camera. For a digital camera, you would think that, oh, it probably takes an SD card, which you would be right. It does take an SD card, but guess what? This camera also takes a floppy disk. That is a very, very strange thing because floppy disks, I think they had a capacity of 1.4 megabytes. So feature-wise, this camera is also quite unique. It's a bulky camera. There's an LCD brightness. You can turn it on or off. And over here, you have your play or still or movies. Now, this is the eject button for the floppy disks. So for example, just a nice solid switch and the floppy disks come out. Goes back in and you're gonna hear a nice click like that and it's in. Okay, so now that this floppy disk is in, let's go ahead and turn the power on. So we turn the power on and it wants me to set the dates. So now we're good to go with the disk. That's the floppy disk. Now let's try to focus here to this little thing here, and I could press the focus button here and let's see what it says. Okay, so it changes the range of focus, almost like zone focusing. You see how this is now 1 meter. It's a digital range focusing system. It's like a rangefinder sort of thing. But now I can focus for infinity to be sure, because sometimes I guess the idea here was that you're not sure what you're seeing from this tiny screen, and it doesn't have a viewfinder either, an optical viewfinder. So they put in this focus button to allow you to be able to, gauge which way, how far your subject is from you and focus accordingly. But I would say that the autofocus works very well. So right now it's autofocusing. So it is autofocused. When I put my hand in front, it autofocuses to my hand, right? And same thing with this box right here. Let's see if the writing will come in focus. And the writing does come into focus. If I move this further, let's see if it will come into focus. And it looks like it comes into focus as well. Now, another cool feature that this camera comes with is it has a dedicated flash button, and you can see that this is lit up, right? And that is actually very, very cool. So let's go ahead and give ourselves a selfie and watch this. See? And the flash goes off and you can see the preview, right? That's pretty cool. And also pay attention to the little touch of light here. I think that's a really nice detail. I don't know, it's so nice because it just makes the camera feel a lot more classy. This camera is just really beautiful. So I must say that this camera is an interesting camera. It's a very interesting camera. I mean, it's bulky, and it's not just the fact that it shoots on floppy disk that makes it a bit weird, but it's also because it's unusually featured. There's a lot of features on it, like that you wouldn't expect on an old camera such as this one. Now, one cool thing about this camera is that it not only shoots photos onto floppy disks, but it also shoots videos, albeit short videos, like a few seconds worth, onto a floppy disk. That is pretty impressive if you ask me. Let's go into some of the features here and more into the menu items here, and you will notice that it is quite feature packed. For example, as we go through the menu here, you can see that over here I can switch effects, picture effects. If I want picture effects, look at that. I can actually shoot black and white, sepia, or solarize, or negative art. That is insane. So let's just practice something here. We're gonna try. Let's try the sepia. Let's try the sepia, and you notice that the screen changes. Look at that. And now I'm gonna take a sepia photo. Oh, that is classic. Actually, that's a video in sepia. That's crazy. And you see, when it finishes recording, it will just make it just a few seconds worth. It automatically stops recording. I really like the autofocus on this thing. The autofocus is actually quite responsive. And you see, when it takes a photo, it takes a few seconds for it to write it onto the disk. But other than that, the operations of this thing is quite smooth. Oh, but there's more. Look at this. On this menu, the file menu, there's disk tools, file number, clip motion, image size. You could actually modify a whole bunch on this camera, which is just surprising to me. It just feels like this camera is a camera that does not know that it's actually a vintage camera. Look at this. On the camera setting, you look at all the features that you're able to change: exposure, flash level, white balance. White balance, you can actually change the white balance on this thing. It's currently set to auto. There's sharpness that you can change on the camera. There's digital zoom. There's ISO. You can change the ISO. So let's just say that this thing here is so feature packed, it's insane. It's just ridiculous. For an old camera that shoots onto floppy disks, you would think that it would be quite basic. But on the other hand, it takes surprisingly decent quality images, all stored on floppy disks. I don't know how Sony did it, but they managed to create a beast. They managed to create a beast that somehow shoots very decently, but also shoots in a very conservative way onto floppy disks, which, mind you, do not have a lot of disk space. It's only 1.4 megabytes, but somehow it shoots videos and photos onto the disks. So overall, in conclusion, I would say that this is a real gem. This actually is a real gem, and it's a really unique camera in all of my experience with dealing with cameras. I really love it.